Okay, today's topic is something that I get asked all the time, and that is how do I find a list of potential sellers to market to? This comes up all the time, and there are unique challenges in our area, and I'm in Long Island, New York, to coming up with lists because many of the niche lists are just not available. So, code violation lists that are available in I think 75% or 80% of the municipalities in the country are just not available here. They won't give it to you. Um, Utility shutoffs, criminal records. A lot of things are just not available. Tax delinquent lists are very hard to get. So these things are harder. You have to work with a broader list. And when I say a broader list, I mean, here's the most obvious things to go for. The most obvious things are you can go onto a source like ListSource, and we can help you with this, and we've helped a lot of people get lists. And you can uh, create criteria where someone who has a property for a long period of time and maybe is over a certain age, and the property is maybe under a certain dollar amount, for example, and you get a list of those. So those people are more likely to sell, right? That's just a fact. If someone has a property for 20 years um, and is over a certain age, it's likely that more likely that that guy might sell to you. It's a very broad list, I admit. Now there are predictive lists, right? We've bought the Audantic list, which is a predictive service. It's not cheap, but we pay for it. Um, that uses all kinds of data to figure out, based on people that have sold to investors before, who's going to sell to people this year. Oh crap! I forgot the sign. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Oh, I forgot housekeeping. I forgot the sign. See, I'm getting old. So here's the sign. Our next meeting is a week from today. Well, I'm recording this on Thursday, but our next meeting is Thursday, March 12th, 2020, at the VFW in Valley Stream. Can you see that? We changed the format a little bit this month, where the first hour from 6 to 7 is going to be newbie hour. You can ask any question. Then we have a regular schedule from 7 to 9 p.m. where we have networking. We have a presentation at about 8. That's housekeeping 1. I can't believe I forgot this. Housekeeping 2 is, please, if you get any value out of these videos, please like them. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Comment. We respond to our comments pretty quickly. And share. That helps us out a lot. So we're asking everyone to do it. All right, back to the list. So that is a broad list that you can get. Now, if you go to ListSource and get it and ask for it, let's say a list of 10,000, that's the number we usually want people to start with. I would say it'll cost you a few $1,000s. We have a pretty good deal with ListSource, so if you want to use us, you don't pay us, you pay ListSource directly, but you use our account, and we can get you a tremendous discount. It'll cost you a few $300 for a list. So that is a broad list. Now, are there other lists? So people come to you all the time, say, driving for dollars, there's driving for dollars list. So there's pros and cons to driving for dollars in our area, right? So it's very different in other places. In other places, if something has been vacant for a long time, there might be open taxes and things, and you can go find that person who owns it and get it from them. But here, it works too. But what happens most of the time, what I'm finding, because I had people doing driving for dollars for me, is that the property is in foreclosure, is way underwater, is already bought by another investor, or is owned by the bank. So you have to just do a little research online to see if the property that's in disrepair is a possible buy. If it doesn't have a mortgage on it, that's great. If it's not owned by a bank or another recently sold to another investor, then it's worth it to skip trace the owner and find out, maybe they're dead. Very often they're dead, and you got to find the heirs. That can be a home run. That can be a 6-figure deal. But you just have to, people sent me a ton of these driving for dollars leads, and when I started doing the research, I spent hours on it, and none of them were deals. So it's different in other places. So you got to look. Online. Do a little research first before you think that a property that's in terrible disrepair is a possible deal, right? You got to just check off 3 things. Make sure it's not crazy underwater where you're gonna have to short sale it, and you got to do some math for that, because you're not going to know what the balance is on the loan, but you could see when it went into foreclosure and approximately what the balance was when it started. You got to make sure it didn't recently change hands to someone and it's too late, and you got to make sure that the bank didn't buy it. So assuming those things didn't happen, it's a deal, but you got to look up those things, and maybe we'll do a video explaining how to do that in Nassau. In Nassau, it's much easier than Suffolk, because everything in Nassau is on one site. In Suffolk, you got to go for each town just to figure out that 15-digit Suffolk County tax number, the SCTN. It's a huge pain in Suffolk. Nassau is definitely easier. So you can use that if it doesn't meet any of those three criteria, right? If it's not crazy underwater and it's not recently bought and it's not owned by a bank, then you should absolutely use that and call that list. But you got to find out what's going on there. So in any of these lists, right, you're only going to have an address and a name. You're going to need to skip trace to find more. You may have to look for errors. You may have to look for more things. So it's important to have a good skip tracing service. We offer, it's not ours, but we have a good one where it gives you a lot of data. That's great. Skip Force, we get big discounts on that too. So those are broader lists. Again, a lot of the niche lists. So you can buy probate. You can buy probate leads, right? We only tried it for 3 months a long time ago. We didn't have a lot of luck with it. What I found in New York, and I know other people have found other things, was that brand new probate leads are really, a lot of them are not ready to sell. When you call them, they get pissed off. B, the probate process takes so long here that they were like laughing that I couldn't sell it if I want to. So I have some other ideas. I think maybe if I get back into probate, I would go into probate that's like 6 months old or a year old. That's a possible idea. But you can buy those leads. I think we were paying $800 a month for like 300 leads. Not terrible, but $3 a lead. I don't know. I didn't have a lot of luck, but we never gave it enough of a chance. 3 months is not enough time. That was something you need to do for a year to really see if it works and if it gives you a good return. So, and any of these lists, anything you're going to do, you're going to need to give it a year. It sounds nuts. I know people that got into wholesaling wanted quick cash because on the internet that's what it says. If you're looking on the internet from people in Phoenix and people in Texas, and so Arizona, Texas, the Carolinas, and they say, "Oh, get into wholesaling. I got a check for $12,000 3 weeks later." It's not how it works in New York. It takes a long time. So any list you're trying, you need to give it a full year of calling or however you're contacting that list, and to follow up and really see if there's a return on it. So we can help you get a broad list if you want. If you have other ideas, we can talk about them. I'd love to find other niche lists that we can use. We're working on a few, but these are very hard and they take a lot of effort and money. So a lot of people don't want to spend that. I understand. But we could talk about other possible lists if you want to get into them. Like I said, probate's definitely available, but a lot of other lists aren't. A lot of other lists, and I've tried a lot of list providers and spoken to them, and when I bring up Nassau and Suffolk County, they just say zero. Here's a great example. If you put up, a lot of people say the absentee list, right? So if you go onto ListSource and click off absentee owners in Nassau and Suffolk, you get 0, which is stupid because there are tons of properties where the tax bill goes to another address. But that is information that's easily available in other places. For some reason, Nassau and Suffolk don't give that list, give that information out. So for ListSource, when you go to absentee, you get you get like 3 properties. So maybe there is a better way to get absentee list. I would love to try it. If you have any ideas, well, help me out. But it's tough to get niche lists in New York. Much easier in other places. Work on a broad list and test it for a year. That is what I'd recommend. If you need help, or you want to discuss this, or you have any other ideas, I'm certainly open to talking about it. I'm certainly interested in finding any kind of niche list in Nassau and Suffolk that you may know about or have information on. So feel free to call me if you need anything or if you have any information for me. And again, the number is below. You can call the office anytime.